this. So, Kobe DeMar, the greatest.
100%. All right, everybody good to go?
Yeah.
Alrighty. 3, 2, 1. What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Blacktop Podcast. Boys, NBA basketball is here. How are you feeling?
Well, I mean, we just had our two teams on.
Yeah. So, just for context, we are recording this on, what day did you say?
Wednesday, October 25th.
Second day of games popping. Crazy slate. A lot of games being played. Man, the Raptors and the Celtics started off with a W. But we'll get into that later. Boys, opening night. How are we feeling? Yesterday, pretty crazy games, not gonna lie.
That was,
general takeaways,
yeah.
whatever it may be. Let's start with the first game, though. The Nuggets officially got their rings. The banner got hung, and man, they are still playing championship level basketball. I think that's something you expect, considering that they only really lost Bruce Brown from that team. But when you looked at it, wow, not really. There wasn't really. They couldn't have played any better basketball. Essentially, they were still at that championship level, and the Lakers, whole nother story. But yeah, how y'all feeling about that first game?
Yeah, honestly, I think Denver was the best team playing yesterday throughout the whole association. Sure. I mean, obviously there was only 4 teams. I think one thing that I noticed in the Denver game, I watched pretty much majority of it, is it Christian Brown? Christian Brown.
Yeah.
He really stood out, I think, as like an X factor, which I think 100%. Scouts have been like kind of nailing him in for, which I think is, a benefactor as to why Denver wasn't hesitant, or at least like they weren't, hurt by the loss of Bruce Brown, because he really filled in that role of just being like a X factor off the bench. I noticed that a lot. But yeah, they just looked like the cleanest team last night, and I think they'll be the kind of story for the rest of the year.
Yeah, what I was surprised about was the fact that there's no Bruce Brown, but that bench looked like it didn't really lose a step. For me, it's just like Christian Brown stepped in, like you mentioned. Zeke, Najee, he came in and played some really solid minutes. Peyton Watson. Like, there's some really good names on the Denver team that just filled the role, and I think their style of play also allows guys to kind of, like, step in and
for sure.
and play really well, especially when you have two guys like Jokic and Jamal who get a lot of people involved in the offense. I feel like this is going to be a big year for both Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr.
Aaron Gordon was he was working really well in the role, and even like having him initiate some plays was even the shot creation aspect, like I think that's going to be massive for him. Oh man, they're going to hear the train coming by. But the shot creation aspect is like really important, where I think last night he was more free than I've seen at any point last year, and not necessarily saying that he's limited or like he's struck to like one specific like style where he has to come off pin downs and be that guy that plays 3D. I don't know if they can hear that. Actually, I don't think they can hear the train. Doesn't look like it's popping up. All right, solid. We'll give it a sec.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Aaron Gordon looked really good last night. The bench looked really solid. Their style of play. I mean, sometimes the thing I worry about, too, as a championship team is, like, you come back the year after, and continuity is a good thing for them internally. But for the rest of the league, you have a full year's worth of data where you can analyze and scout this team and be like, oh, like, these are their weak points. But there isn't really a weak point to Denver's team.
Oh, yeah. Offensively, I think it's we think of the term heliocentric and it's like a bad thing. But I think the fact that everything's so catered towards Jokic, and the fact that he's able to make something out of nothing seemingly anytime, any place, is really, really a testament to how great they are as a team.
Yeah.
I think how you were mentioning about the bench, I think when you lose in stability with a guy like Bruce Brown, you've gained like an extra battery pack with these young guys. Because, Peyton Watson.
He looks really good.
He looks really, really good. Zeke Najee, fresh off an extension, played really well.
like Christian mentioned, Christian Brown.
Reggie Jackson played well last night too.
Reggie was
Reggie
hooping.
Jackson
He was-
did play really well.
Yeah, he was hooping last night, dude. Like he looked really good, and he wasn't he was really not part of the rotation last year.
Not
No.
at all.
And now you see him step in, and you're like, wow, we forgot that Reggie Jackson was a starting point guard in this league just
Anybody
last year.
watched the Clippers make their Western Conference Finals run? Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson's one of the ones for sure.
Yeah, he's a massive contributor. He's
Let's-
like, to me, he's like one of those Dennis Schroeders, right?
Ooh,
He's
yeah,
like,
that's
you
a
know,
good
the mold of those guys that it's like they can step in, be a starter, or they can be a rotation player off the bench. Either way, like,
It worked both ways.
yeah.
Let's flip to the other side. The Lakers, man. For sure, we got to touch on first. Anthony Davis, bro. 17 points and a half, which is solid, but you don't do anything after.
Yeah.
And like overall, I think defensively it was solid, but I mean, if you're a guy that's supposed to take away the torch from someone like LeBron, who's heading into his 21st season, and you're supposed to be this DPOY, multi-time MVP, perennial all-star, you can't end a game with nothing in the second half.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in him.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, I mean, I'm gonna look at it from a big picture. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you know, AD for the most part in the Western Conference Finals, like he had a tough time on both ends against Jokic, and like you see him get bodied by Jokic a bunch of plays last night too, and I think that was like one of the craziest things. But I think looking at it from a bigger picture, pulling back off of AD, guys, I think this team is gonna have. I think they have so many new faces. I mean, they kept the same core guys, the same 5 starters. You know, Jared Vanderbilt is in there, AR, Rui, like LeBron. But then the rest of the rotation are like brand new guys.
They're really missing the impact of like a Jerry Vanderbilt. For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there are things that are going to help them, like having Jared Vanderbilt back in the rotation. But then the other side of it is this team's probably going to need time again to gel and mesh and find some synchronicity again, because these guys clearly have. There, you can see last night in that game where there were spots where it was like I don't think people really understood where to be, and you know, D'Lo's back to his old ways. So
Did y'all see that clip where
yeah,
Robert conversating, talking some very high IQ basketball?
that train. I don't think they'll hear it. It's not. It's
You
not
think they're
popping
gonna
on the
hear
thing.
it? I saw it. Alright, sorry, there's a train in the background. But yeah, they were talking very high IQ basketball. LeBron saying, "Hey man, PNR, I'm wide open." And what does D'Lo do?
He pulls over.
Settle for a crazy ISO 3. Yeah, D'Angelo Russell, I mean, he's a guy that I think everybody wants to do well. But, man, it's hard to see, like, him living up to that production at this point. Because, you know, he had a solid game, no doubt. But it was a lot like you got 15 by taking 12 or 13 shots. You know, you had the box score, but when you break down the efficiency, the time and placement of the shots, wasn't really all the well. I think, first of all, Austin Reeves needs to have the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know why they kind of went away from that, because he was a guy that was averaging damn near like 20 and 10.
Yeah. Well, he's a much more natural playmaker, also like AR than D'Lo. But I think there's something weird about D'Lo where I think he's catering too much his offense, where he's clearly a guy that needs the ball, and I think that's where we saw him be a good, really good 20 and 10 guy in Brooklyn. It's because the ball's in his hands, he's controlling the offense, he's controlling the scheme of the game, so he has obviously a hard time, you know, playing off of other players, and so that's something that he has to learn. I mean, that's where he struggled quite a bit last season too, where he wasn't even finishing games, right? And that's because like you can't really trust him to be a pylon out there. You got to be an active player, especially in the fourth quarter when the ball is going to be in LeBron's hands, and at this point it looks like it's going to be in AR's hands pretty often. So can you be a guy that's willing to sit there and be a threat without the ball, willing to be a passer, willing to be a guy who can catch it in space and make decisions quickly without having to dictate, like, with the ball in your hands? So I know it's gonna be an interesting year. I was telling Christian like I got him in my fantasy team, but I don't know if this is going to be a great year for him fantasy wise for his stats because he's obviously going to be a guy that's going to be competing for minutes with the Gabe Vincents of the world, right? And
you talking AR or D'Lo?
I'm talking about D'Lo. So he's got to figure out what his best role is, or he's got to carve out some sort of niche because the ball is not going to be in his hands all the time, and he's not going to have a 20-10 season. But can he be an effective 16-5 guy? Right? Like, can he be that effective player at making sure that, like, when he contributes, it's in impactful moments versus just trying to find his? Because I feel like that's what's happening with the Lakers. In one game, I know that's a lot to say about D'Lo, but you can definitely tell the guy's pressing a little bit for his own offense.
For sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I have anything else to add. I personally think it might be, bad take because it's the first game of the year, but I personally don't see a successful championship run with this roster if D'Lo is on the roster. I think he's not a plus player to have.
I think at this current role they can.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely like, I'm just saying, man. I think you put Gabe Vincent in that starting lineup, some guy who's a very much more of a cerebral player, might look a little better to start the game. Because I think at this point, if D'Lo wants to shoot the way he wants to, you need to throw him and Rui in that second unit and let them go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want my honest take?
So
I would even start AR at point guard.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to have the ball in his hands more.
I think I would start him at point. I don't think D'Lo or Gabe come off
That was
or
like the
start him.
biggest. I think the biggest surprise once the ball tipped off was that AR for the most part was kind of getting it off of like catch and create opportunities. He wasn't really having the ball in his hands too much.
And that's where he's best because he's also a guy that can play off the ball. But again, like double the threat. AR can do all this stuff that fills the roster so nicely. I think just like having D'Lo again is just it's too much redundancy. And I know they ask him to be like that third option, but if for me, man, like pass the mantle off to AR because I think that's where they should be heading.
I mean, it's crazy that we're even having this conversation because that was how it was last year.
Yeah,
When they got really like. When the wheels started to turn, post All-Star break, Rob Pelinka worked his magic. They were at their best when AD, LeBron, and AR were driving that boat.
Yeah. I think D'Lo's best as a sixth man.
Definitely.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
All right, next game, man. Phoenix and Golden State. Whew. Not as contested as it could have been, granted, because there was no... both teams were missing a big part of their team. No Draymond, no Bradley Beal, but came to play still for sure. I gotta tell the podcast this. I had one tweet ready to let off if the Warriors won. Jonathan Kuminga had himself a pretty solid game. The cum bucket has had his load all over this game.
Yeah, he had to drop it, eh? Rick, man. Yo, the Lord was kind of crazy, fam.
Hey. Okay, cum bucket, bro. That's the guy.
I don't know if that'll ever stick here.
I don't think it will
Pause.
either, but...
Pause. Yo! That's wild, yo. I don't know if the cum bucket will ever stick.
Anyways, let's get back to it. The game itself, I mean, Phoenix looked really good, even without Bradley Beal. One particular person I want to shout out, not only because he's on my fantasy team, but generally he was like, at one point he was like a top 10 bona fide center. Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
I think really him in this kind of system where, looking at how Portland was set up, he was kind of the dwindled between the third, fourth kind of option. But now here where he doesn't really have to do any he's not dependent on to be like that.
Yeah.
And how we were already mentioning, if he's more of like a, poor man's Jokic, maybe like a 7, 10, and 5 kind of season, Nurkic is going to be a big part of this offense for sure. Granted, I think a lot of that also showed up with how Katie had a little bit of an off night. Devin Booker was for sure cooking. And man, y'all were talking about, let me hear some praising for Josh Okogie.
Yeah. You look good, man. I'm a Kogi stan, man.
For real.
Yeah, I don't know. Okogie Stan does all the dirty work. I think you need a player like that to offset all the offensive talent that you have on your team, and like he just does it so well. And I feel like he might work himself, into a conversation for potentially all defense if he continues.
Ooh.
I think so because
That
like,
level of intensity, yeah.
well, because also he's probably going to take the best perimeter player on any given night. And if you look at their team, like if they're able to get stops and they're able to finish upwards in the top 5-10 in defensive analytics, like a lot of that's going to fall on the shoulders of Okogie. Like, and I don't know if they'll necessarily be a great defensive team considering their personnel, but they have some pieces that can do that. But again, Josh Okogie is going to be that guy, and so if we can look at that and
He
be
could
like,
for sure be like a guy that takes you by surprise when you see his name at the end of the year.
exactly. So I think by the end of the year he's going to have that toughest defensive assignment, and if they go into these games and they're winning it because of, defensive possessions and Okogie's getting stops on these guys, and again like they finish top in 10 in analytics, I think there's a good conversation to be had about him. He looks good. I mean, he was solid for them last year. We knew what they were retaining with him coming into this year, and so far he's playing that role. Again, it's one game, but you can kind of tell with one game what team structure is going to look like, the hierarchy on the floor.
Yeah, I think that, and he has a bit of a head start because the big question about the Suns was who's going to take that fifth spot, and I think it's for sure his because it's not the same system because Frank Vogel's there, but definitely a lot of the principles, a lot of the makeup of that team is still there with Book, and the fact that he played with both him and KD from last year definitely gives him a leg up. Yeah, I don't know if like he's a shoo-in for all defense, but I definitely think if they're a team that's in that upper echelon of the defensive end, he's
He'll be part of the conversation. For sure. Yeah, he'll get some love.
Let's hear you talking about how the Warriors were cooking, Jid.
Honestly, I thought that was a really messy game. I thought, like, when the starters were out, the Suns were dominating, and when the bench was out, that's when Golden State came to play. I think that was honestly the story of the game, is that Golden State was staying in because they had definitively the better bench. Like when I saw the Suns bench come out, that did not look promising. It was like, oh man, you guys need to get at least one of the starters back in. And I think it'll heal a little bit with Bradley Beal coming in. Like I think they will have like a better way of rotating their stars in. But that bench looked bad. But when the starters came out, when Devin Booker was out, like he was cooking everyone on that.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, Klay Thompson.
Everybody got work from Devin. Oh my goodness.
I can't even laugh. But yeah, I think there is some age showing through Klay Thompson. I think that's just, normal. But I'd be interested to see how the rest of the season plays out. I think Chris Paul was actually pretty great last night.
He's good.
They ran him through the bench a few times with Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. I thought there was a lot of synergy there.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of that trio.
But I think we'll just have to see when Draymond comes back if they can like really piece it together, because there's definitely some holes in the starting lineup.
I think he will. He'll probably answer some of those concerns.
So. He always does. But yeah, I thought Yusuf Nurkic looked really good last night. I think he might have been arguably the most impactful player outside of Josh Okogie last night.
Crucial bucket and clutch, right?
Yeah.
Like crucial bucket and clutch. Yeah, it's crazy because I think we talked about like how Phoenix managed to build out a pretty solid bench on paper.
They did not.
They did not look good last night.
They have some promising guys. Jordan Goodwin, I think, had like a few moments here and there.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's definitely a little bare bones at the moment.
Well, you said it though. Like, why can a bench perform so well? And the X factor in the trio that you talked about is Chris Paul. Is typically for a good bench, you have to have some pretty good playmaking. Like you have to because the bench unit is often out of sorts. Especially if you're going to be playing guys like if you're going to be playing 4 or 5 bench guys on the floor, there's got to be someone there that's able to restructure the team offensively, even defensively, like guys that can control stuff. And Chris Paul is able to do that. So if you can bring in, at least I think what Phoenix is planning to do, and I'm sure we can all agree to this. Like, it's either one of Beal, one of Booker, one of KD on the floor at all times. And so, and that's going to be the stabilizing factor, and everybody else is just kind of going to do what they're best at their role is.
Yeah.
Utah look good. I mean, I feel like he's going to be solid for them, but otherwise, like, damn man, Slim Pickens out here, bro. I don't know. Phoenix is Slim Pickens, bro. Dude, I think they just picked up the crumbs off the floor and they said that was food, bro. I don't know, man. Phoenix, Yeah, I mean, you gotta like the starting five is really solid when you have them, but man, they gotta figure that thing out because I don't know, it's tough.
And if I had to guess, it's probably Devin Booker, in my opinion, that should play that, through the bench role where he comes off early. Mostly because, one, I think he is the best isolation player on that team. And then the other thing, I think, really, to be honest, like, it's slim pickings in this category, but you could argue, like, easily he might be the best facilitator on the team, too.
I think he is, though.
Yeah.
I think he's the best facilitator.
And that's not saying a lot
sure.
about Devin Booker. But, I mean, KD had an off night, but I think just with the age and, with Devin Booker being practically in the peak of his prime, I think he is the best isolation player on the team, too.
I think one thing I'll say about Devin Booker, because, I've definitely been a little overcritical, I'll say. You can definitely see the influence that CP's had on him these past few years. I think, he already came into the league as one of the more cerebral guys in his position.
Yeah.
We can talk about the Kobe disciples and all that. He's the one where I think it's really starting to click, like, the game's really fully starting to slow down, even more than it already has for him. Because, I mean, when he came into the league, he was getting buckets. Strictly buckets, the occasional assist here and there, but now we're seeing him really put it all together. And I think what we're about to see in the next few years is Devin Booker really, like, I think reclaim his name and his respect in the league. Because, I don't know, y'all saw the ESPN list, right?
Yeah.
Oh, like the top 100?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some disrespect there.
I think Book was like 11th or something.
Yeah.
But the big thing was that Shea was above him.
Well, Shea was in the top 5, no?
It might have been that actually.
Yeah.
Top 5.
Shea was in the top 5. It was something like it was Jokic, Giannis, Joel, Luka, and Shea. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the top 5.
I'm not mad about Shea maybe being above him.
I think he's in the top 5.
The disparity from 5 to 11, if that's like the case, that is a pretty.
I think outside the top, I think Curry's for sure been in the top 5. This is a whole outdated conversation in a sense because the list was so long ago. But I definitely think Devin's, if they're like as good as we all think they can be, I think as much as everybody's saying, oh, this is Jason Tatum's year for MVP, another guy that's on a team with a lot of guys that are able to be in that kind of conversation, Devin Booker can for sure punch his name into that.
Yeah. Well, I think you said it best too. Like Devin Booker is probably. I actually really like that you said that. Like the stuff that he's learned around CP, like the influence on his game. Like you can clearly tell that he's the best playmaker on the team, and that what I think that's a bit of a problem. But again, when you have 3 fantastic scorers, it is what it is.
It'll be a little tough if they get into a firefight and you need him to like score every possession because that'll definitely halt the offense. But
wow, you think he's the top best ISO player on that team?
I mean, if you time travel maybe 4 years ago, I'd say it's KD.
Really?
I
would still take KD, but I kind of like where this conversation is heading.
I only think
fuck it, let's talk about it, man.
I think KD hasn't lost a lot of it. Don't get me wrong, but I think when KD was in his prime, there was a lot more slashing involved in his game, and I've noticed.
That's true.
I've noticed in the last 2 years when he's played with the Suns that his game is more reliant strictly on the mid-range game, which of course he's like an assassin in. But I think Devin Booker is a prime 3-level scorer. Obviously he's not like he doesn't get to the rim, but he finds his way to slash too. I think he's just the more versatile and athletic player at this point, as compared to where KD is at currently in his career.
Do y'all think that? Man, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Do y'all think KD's kind of struggling with the fact that he's a Robin now?
I don't think he. I think he realizes his age at this point.
You think so?
Playing with a guy like Book, you have to, because Book is like clearly. Let me think about this. Tough. Is Book the best shooting guard in the league right now?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
So then, is there even a question about KD being a Robin at this point?
But I mean, KD was still like top tier. Like we were saying, he was an MVP candidate last year before he went to the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think KD is the kind of guy where now at this point might not hit the ground running. Like KD, I think when you're looking towards like the long stretch, towards the back half of the season, that's when we're going to really see him like not even reassert himself, but just look like regular KD. Because yeah, I agree. Yesterday was not it.
Yeah.
But I think to an extent, he's definitely. I think you're right. He's starting to realize like his mortality in a sense.
Yeah.
Because we've seen KD like at the cream of the crop be like the best possible scorer we've potentially seen of all time. And now
I would say best of all time. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna we're not gonna open it up that one.
KD, greatest scorer of all time.
There's an argument.
There absolutely is an
Even
argument.
the fact that there's an argument means you're one of them dogs. But
I think aesthetic wise, he's got to be there.
KD's got the prettiest game I've ever watched with my two eyes, man.
Really,
100%.
he's 1A 1B right now with me.
Who's 1B?
T Mac.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I got T Mac.
True.
T Mac has such a pretty game. Oh man,
True, true.
T Mac just makes me go wow. Like whenever time I watch him, you know, you're like wow. You
If
know.
you take away last night, you always knew that from like kind of 08, 09-ish up until now, if he catches it on the wing, gets you to that midi, we knew that was automatic.
Yeah.
That was one of the
Yeah,
prettiest.
he was
That one
he was
of the prettiest.
unfuckwittable.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, 100%.
Oh my goodness.
You know where I put KD right now? I put KD in the LeBron James mold currently, where we all know that these guys are number ones by far, through and through. But they're at that point now where they can't be the number one necessarily, and they have to rely on a guy like AD and Book to kind of carry the torch a little bit, and then they'll fall in. But then when the kind of time comes, they'll play their best, like because they're still KD and LeBron James.
Sure.
But they can't be relied upon for 82 games anymore, and not even 16 games through to a championship run.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where we put them, which is why I think that's a really interesting conversation, because if Book is him, then there's no reason we can't expect this team to be playing in June,
Definitely.
right? Against the Toronto Raptors. I'm just kidding.
You mean in the NBA Cup?
Hey, that's gonna be fun.
That commercial was kind of fire.
Yeah, that was fire.
Can we talk about that?
That was a cool
The
commercial.
little Sopranos vibe that had to it.
I really liked it. Draymond looked good in that one. DeMar. I mean, that was.
Yeah,
That's a
I mean,
cool
going
commercial.
off of this tangent, a lot of these like start to the year NBA commercials have been pretty fire.
Yeah, I feel like the NBA has like the best production out of any sports league. I think they're
Tough
right up
call.
there.
It's either the NBA or the NFL.
The NFL's pretty
I
good,
think
but
the
like,
NFL might have it, respectfully.
I think the NFL's the peaks there because you have the Super Bowl, which we all know is
yeah,
the mecca of like.
I think also they
advertising.
probably have it over the NBA in terms of like analysis and commentary. The amount of shows that like these guys just have high IQ conversations, but then we open the TV to an ESPN game. We have Stephen A. Smith. Well, let me tell you something. Yeah, like LeBron James is better than Kobe Bryant. I'm telling you. No weed. Like, yeah, I don't know about Stephen A. Smith on Countdown. Let me just say that, but yeah, production. Man, it's like something about the NBA for me, man. It's just like you can see the players' faces too. Like I get it, the NFL is the biggest
I
sport.
think it's a lot more marketable.
It
I think
definitely
that's
is.
why the NFL like kind of surpasses them in the fact that they probably put way more into it because you need
Yeah,
to make those guys
absolutely.
like
Yeah,
home bases.
there's definitely so much money poured into those guys.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's react to. I was gonna talk rookie extensions, but I mean it's cool. A lot of them got their money, but
Yeah, they got their money.
the big one, 3 years, 186. Didn't even sign him without knowing how much money he was getting paid. Giannis, I'm not gonna lie. Giannis, he got the Milwaukee Bucks tied around his finger right now, man.
Yeah, bro.
Because think about how it was at the beginning of the summer. Man, I'm all about winning. If we're not all on the same page, if we're not about winning, I'm going to go somewhere where I can win.
That was Giannis though, yo. That was Giannis the joy, bro.
Giannis, I love that guy. But
It was D-Day.
He definitely he played chess with Milwaukee.
He did, man.
I mean, that's the reason that they got Dame. And because of that, man.
Domino effect, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which, the thing that's crazy, though, bro, 2 guys are going to be making 60-plus M's on one team. Which is crazy.
For a small market team, too.
Definitely. I think that's the biggest factor there. So, I think the only real concern I have, and I was just listening to Through the Wire on the way here, and they were talking about how, man, if this doesn't go well within these next few years, it's going to be like,
He was struggling.
yeah, for sure. So, I'm happy the extension got done, but I think you need to see like results pretty soon. How you feel about that though, with the extension and like the whole chronicle this summer?
I mean, the thing is with a player like Giannis, I think there's only a few players that you could really put in this category of like you must sign them. It's not like Giannis wasn't for sure going to get signed. Like I don't think there was a doubt in my mind if like even if let's say Dame didn't get signed, I still think Giannis, just based off of like the sort of attitude he's had around the league, I think they would have found a way to keep him. But I think that money has to go to Giannis. It definitely is going to hurt the franchise if they can't get it together, because contracts are going to build up. They're going to have players on extension deals. Like eventually Chris Middleton's going to come around. I'm sure these dates. Brook Lopez is going to come around. These are players that, when it comes to the time, they're going to have to do some wiggle room.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do a Golden
The
State.
time is now.
Yeah.
Them and Golden State are like the teams where, you hate to say it, but they gotta win within the next 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that window's closing. I think there's a difference for me right now though, because we know the fact that Steph is the biggest attraction in Golden State. You look at Milwaukee, Dame is obviously a little bit on the older side, but he still has a long-term deal. So does Giannis. And if you were to weigh the two, obviously Golden State has always been a free agent destination. It's always been a place where people want to play. But I think simply because of the fact that there are 2 guys who are clearly committed to the franchise now moving forward, with the amount of money they do, I would go far and say that I think Milwaukee has now become a true free agent destination. Simply because of the fact that the roster that they've built, they've committed to, and they've showed the fact that they're willing to commit to their players and make big moves to make their team improve. And if a player goes out there and says in the media, yo, man, you guys better start doing something or else I'm going to go somewhere else to win, and they make a move, part of me sits here and thinks, like, as a player, wouldn't you want to go to a team that's willing to go all out for winning? I know the other conversation could be had, like, oh, well, you're also willing to give up on a guy who gave you your all in Drew Holiday. But I think all of us here can kind of agree that that core had run its course a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think, part of me was sitting here like, well, I think they realized they were very self-aware about their organization and what situation they were in, that if there wasn't going to be a massive upgrade for that team, that, again, they probably will be a top 3 team with Drew Holiday, but the dynamics that Dame brings to your team easily makes you in that conversation. Plus, like, you start to become a real contender, and there's a little bit more guarantee there, because when you start to think about a superstar, even though he's only gone to the Western Conference Finals, was it once in his career? Once or twice?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and that was 2019, right? And so, again, you have to try something. You have to try something new. You got to switch it up. I mean, they fired Bud, and I think that was, in some ways, I know people think he got shafted, but I mean, a lot of people were calling for him to get fired prior to that.
Even I was like, the championship didn't necessarily cement Bud as like the coach, but it definitely cemented his job. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
At least for a few years, and they tried again, and it didn't work out. So I mean, here we are in a new situation. So, and they're probably still gonna be top 3 despite all the changes they made. So if I were a player, I'd say, hey man, I'd want to go play in Milwaukee for that organization, that management, and obviously playing with Giannis and Dame.
Love to hear that. Just
So
as long as they're signing for the minimum, because we don't have no more.
exactly.
Okay, let's move on to this. The NBA All-Star Game is going back to East versus West. How we feeling about this?
Not a fan.
Yeah, I feel like
The
it's
East is gonna eat the fucking West.
Bro, like, okay, let's look at this. Okay, so the East, who do we have?
Giannis, Jason Tatum,
Joel,
Joel,
Donovan Mitchell,
Jimmy.
Mitchell,
Jimmy,
There's gotta be
Pascal.
names. We're missing names here.
Pascal, Randall,
Jesus,
Randall.
I don't know. After
Trey Young.
Trey Young. I think Trey Young's gonna get
Trae
back.
Young's gonna- LaMelo might be in that conversation again. We're just missing names right now, probably.
Missing the household names, right?
I mean, Jalen Brown's gonna be in there.
Jalen Brown's gonna be in there for sure.
I take Chris Kristaps before I take Jalen Brown.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Kristaps is gonna. Kristaps is gonna have a great
I
year.
think all 3 of them could make it.
That's true.
Yo, honestly, all 4.
Okay, if they're a
All
60-win team this year, they're making all 3 of them are making it.
Definitely. Because
That's-
I mean, we're recording this after they played their game. Kristaps is.
He looks good.
Oh yeah.
He looks
That dude's a
good.
monster.
He looks good.
I think the fact that all of them have never had like that's what happens. I mean, we saw how it was when KD went there. Basketball was just a lot easier. Granted, they had a game that went down to the wire, but for the Celtics, man, that team was humming.
Yeah, they look very good, and I think everybody just knows their roles, knows their place.
Yeah, and I think even you saw the little clip with Joe Mazzulla talking on the sideline. He just looks like he's speaking with more conviction.
Yeah,
Like he really, I don't know if owns the word I want to use, but he's really like commanded the attention of that team and the respect and all that.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like everyone talks about Missoula ball. Like the dude is like freaking good coach, man. He's a
Yeah.
freaking good coach. So I think Boston's in good hands. I'm sure you have enough to say about Boston.
Yeah, hype up your team, Chin. How you feel about that first game?
I honestly didn't get a chance to watch a lot of it because I was on my way here.
No, that's true.
Oh, true. I mean, I watched first 3 quarters. I had to jet here.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between the Raptors game.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, man, I'm not gonna lie. If I was an NBA player, the one team I wouldn't want to play for is the Knicks.
Yeah.
And it's not even because of like the whole. Well, I guess it kind of is. The whole allure and the draw of like New York, specifically Madison Square Garden. If that's your home, if it's cool maybe your first few games, but then when you realize that every player, every superstar is circling that game, and we're gonna be like, man, I'm gonna pop off when it comes to playing in New York.
Yeah.
It's tough because I mean Jason Tatum, 30 ball,
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis, 15 and a half, and I think 4 blocks. Insane.
Kristaps, yeah. He's gonna have. I think he might have his best year of his career.
Even last year, he was like, I think
He's
he
really
was
good.
someone who was severely slept on.
Yeah. I don't know. Thinking about the East, so like East and West.
Yeah, getting back to that,
Yeah, I mean the West got a good.
If we think about it, the West is
They're
also.
the better guards.
it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good game for sure. But I think like Adam Silver just did this to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit because I think he realizes like, man, last year was ass.
Yeah, last year was pretty bad. Well, I mean, but here's the thing though. We're gonna leave out a lot of great all-stars in the Western Conference. So unless they extend the amount of players, because right now did they say it was gonna be more than 12, or are they gonna keep it at 12?
I didn't really look into that. I just saw it was East versus West. I think they should make it 15.
I think they should make it 15 too. I think they should also increase the time of the games, just so that guys can play more. It's more of a spectacle, right? And make it just running time or something. I don't know, not running time, but like these guys go through the 15 minutes pretty quickly. There's very rarely any stops during a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What East versus West? Like I said, we just named off like 8 guys in the East, but then we're like, okay, who are the other 4?
Yeah.
right? And then the West, we can go down the line. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Luka, Kyrie,
Devin
AD, Jokic, Devin Booker,
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
SGA. It could be in there. Hey, Anthony Edwards, Zion.
Jokic?
Yeah, I said Jokic. I mean, Murray could be in that
Jamal, I
conversation
really
this
wanna
year.
see make his
You
first
say
one.
Luca?
Yeah, I said Luka. Yeah. I mean, I already listed off 11 guys, and we're like, bro, like, there's probably a number of other guys. Like, Laurie Markkinen was a guy who made it last year, who had an all. He did have a real all-star.
this year.
I don't know.
That was more the homer pick.
You think so?
Okay, here's an idea. You know what they need to do? They need to make it like, if they don't want to do like the full game, I understand that because with all the resting and stuff. This is the perfect opportunity to do like, kind of like a 3-on-3 style tournament where you have your pool of guards and you maybe have like 2 captains from each conference. From there, you get your groups together, and from there, man.
That'd be a very dope concept.
Yeah.
Too bad they're never gonna do it.
Yeah, because these guys want to get paid, or they just feel like it's way too much stuff for them to do. I just wish there was some buy-in from the players at some point to just be willing to step outside of the box that they've had. But, you know, it is what it is. You kind of get paid to do the job that you do, right?
Yeah, like I understand why like it's lost the allure because of the whole like we're really trying to save ourselves for June and all that. But you know, I think it's still something that's really important, like to the NBA culture. Cause,
Yeah.
you're not really competing for it, but like the fact that this is the one award that's named after the great Kobe Bean Bryant.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's got to be a little more pride to it for sure. So maybe this will be like something that can make like I kind of understand what Adam Silver's going for. You know, I mean when you watch any interview with like Kobe talking about the All-Star game, he's like, man, you know, me and CP never lost when we were playing together. So you know, maybe this will be something to kind of kickstart it back up into like getting the bragging rights and all that. But,
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I like the fact that they're trying to shake it up. I just don't think it's the right one.
for sure.
Truthfully.
All right, I'm excited to talk about this. Potential expansion. The word on the street. Vegas and Seattle are in the cards. Off rip. What do you guys think the team names would be?
Oh, team names, eh? I think the Sonics are for sure. I think they're gonna bring.
I don't know if
think
they
they're
can
gonna
though, because I think it's still so. Because you know
Is
how
it?
like the whole franchise thing is.
Oh.
Oh, it's
So I think
associated with the
is
OKC.
still-
I mean, unless they just didn't call it the Supersonics, they called it the Sonics. There might be some loopholes there, unless it depends what the copyright looks like
Yeah.
and licensing.
Yeah, it
But
just doesn't sound right if it's nothing else, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's my 2 cents.
what would Vegas be? Damn. Now I got to brainstorm some creative juices right now, but it's so hard to think about it on the
Las
spot. With
Vegas
it.
rich motherfuckers.
The Vegas gamblers.
Honestly,
Yeah, right? Like the Vegas gamblers.
pretty
That would be kind of sick, bro. Like, what are some cool words and phrases associated with gambling and casinos? Like I know they used aces for the WNBA team was sick.
That's a fire one.
That is sick. You can't reuse that one. I
The
mean,
Vegas granny slots.
yo. Can you? Oh, dude, that'd be crazy. Like, you gotta. What's a phrase? Like, okay, wait. What are the card shapes? Hearts, diamonds,
Clubs,
Las Vegas diamonds,
spades.
Las Vegas spades would be kind of cool.
Because they
No.
already have the aces. I don't think it'd be something to do with cards.
What's something that's key to Las Vegas culture? What stays in Vegas, or what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
The strippers.
The Las Vegas strippers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. The Las Vegas sellers, like all the guys there trying to sell like experiences at the hotels. The Las Vegas sellers. Hey man, we got you. We could get you a free hotel day. We could get you free into the
The
show.
Las Vegas
All you gotta do is just. Yo, dude, that's hilarious. You can bet your candy ass, jabroni.
I feel like we're heading towards an animal name.
An animal name?
It's like rattlesnakes or something.
Rattlesnake sounds like something for Phoenix, though. You know, are there rattlesnakes in Vegas? I mean, there are, right? In the desert.
That's the desert. Sure, they got some.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Las Vegas porcupines.
I was thinking like maybe like the Seattle Emerald, something like.
Oh, that'd be cool. Seattle Emerald would be a nice
Seattle
name.
Emerald.
Yeah,
Emeralds would be a fire.
that'd be a sick name. The Seattle Emerald. Damn.
Yeah, I don't got a name for this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just doesn't sound
Sonics-
nice.
The Seattle Needle. The Seattle Needle.
Oh,
Sick.
you know what
Yeah.
They gotta go with the Seattle Gumballs.
Oh, the gumballs. Yeah, yo. The Seattle Pikers. The Pike Place. Yo. Yeah, the Seattle Clam Chowders. The Seattle Clams.
Oh,
Yo, can you imagine? Like, that's one of their top foods in their arena. Clams. Because they're like... They got clam chowder. Ooh, we got it, man. Seattle's got some good seafood. Ooh, Zion.
Oh,
Damn, just yammed it.
How the Pels playing today?
Oh my god, he just yammed it twice on Jaren. Oh no, that was I know, we're just watching the game, guys.
Jaron
Sorry.
Jackson sold me in fantasy. Bro, 0 points through 3 quarters. Absolute travesty. Anyways, getting back to it. Who are some guys you guys would like, if you're a GM, you're building your franchise, who are like some of the top guys that you would target?
I mean, outside of the obvious names.
Well, because you got to think about it. If you're probably not gonna, you're not going to get like a Zion or anything like that. But
Well, you're probably not gonna get LeBron James either. So think realistically, then. I mean,
so how many? How would it work? Like the teams protect a
I
certain
think
amount
they
of
get
players?
to protect.
I think it's 6, right?
6 or
6 or
7?
8.
Wow,
I think it's something like that. It's between 6 and 9 or something like that.
it must be like farther down. I think
Yeah.
a lot of seventh men in the rotation would be pretty
Yeah.
decent.
But it's tough. And well, they would also automatically get first round pick, if I'm not mistaken, an expansion
The
team.
first overall pick, or
Yeah,
just like a top 5?
they would get the first overall, if I'm not mistaken.
They need to have that soon so Seattle can get Cooper Flag.
I can imagine a
Yeah.
lot of players from the Magic and also the Pistons
That's
probably being
true.
pulled.
Yeah,
So-
OKC is gonna for sure. Like if there's one guy I'm targeting, I'm either gonna go for like Usman Jiang or Trey Mann.
Or even
Like those are the guys where I was kind of thinking because I mean, Trey Mann's sitting at the end of that bench and that dude is a bucket.
Well, I mean, if we go around the team, I know at least for the Raptors, a guy who could, if he were an expanded role, Precious Achua. I mean, that guy is
Ooh,
like
Precious, I
Precious.
think, is a guy who could really.
Yeah, like I think
Solid.
if he had a role, if he had a consistent opening role, like as a starter, I think that's the guy.
He'd probably be one of the guys for like an expansion team.
Yeah,
I think in this day and age, it'd just be a lot of players that didn't really pan out or like haven't been given that opportunity. Like
Yeah.
I can imagine a player like James Wiseman doesn't get protected.
yeah,
A player like Jalen Suggs might not get protected.
that's a good one too. Jalen Suggs is actually a really good
Those
one.
are the types of players that I think will probably end up on that team. There's probably a lot of good players from the Rockets that'll be available. They'll probably get Dylan Brooks in the process, if I had to imagine. Yeah.
Because you gotta think about guys like young guys, and to some degree some veterans who may or may not fit the mold anymore. So there might be teams who are, I mean, you might be looking at, I don't know, an Atlanta Hawks, the DeAndre Hunter,
True.
Ooh, DeAndre
Something
is
like that,
Someone I can see.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. We go around the league if we really think about it. Like the Lakers have a few guys that you could be like, well, you know what, they could make
Sure
good.
would, baby.
Yeah. So
Yep.
interesting.
So would they have to add a team to the East too?
They probably would.
No, I think
You think so?
You add these two to the West, then
Oh, add two. to
you
the
move
West.
two to the East.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
think you could move like I know people say Memphis should be in the East.
Yeah, I think there was another team that they were saying they should move to the
Minnesota
east.
maybe?
Yeah,
That's one of those more Midwest.
because they like the more Midwesty Central teams.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think I mean I think it all makes sense. I think
the NBA is just due for an expansion, man.
yeah.
I saw one guy saying like the NBA is watered down as is, but that's completely wrong. I mean,
That is
we're-
wrong.
We're thinking about all the talent that's just sitting on the bench. Like,
Yeah.
Regardless of if it's like they're young and you want to like kind of let them absorb the game from that standpoint, but you know, you look to like Cam Thomas is a 6-man, and he just dropped what, 25, 35
Yep.
in a game.
Yeah, I also think it's more unheard of. Like if you think about the older parts of the NBA or the older generations, like within our generation, I think a lot of undrafted players, second round players, have been very successful.
Yeah.
Like, Jokic, Fred VanVleet went undrafted. I'm sure there's numerous stories. That these are just
Herb from a couple years ago.
yeah. So I think like there's just not enough. I don't know what the right word is, but yeah, not enough to go around.
Yeah,
almost.
there needs to be
There's
definitely.
more than enough talent to facilitate a few teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like the league, watching these podcasts from these players, it's really about opportunity, man. And like having 2 more teams added, and just expansion in general, provides more opportunity for guys to show what they can do and evolve and get better. More opportunities for coaches, more opportunities for management roles, more opportunities even for people way below in the organization. I think there should be more female coaches in the league too. I think that there should be more, opportunities for, black coaches, that kind of thing. Like just more diversity in the league and more
I feel like
opportunity.
Becky Hammond all the way.
Yeah, Becky Hammond absolutely should have had a role like way before, but I mean she's killing it with the Aces. But I hope she finds a way into the NBA.
I feel like she's going to keep coaching the Aces until Paul retires. And then she'll take.
Retakes that role.
I can see that.
I could see that too. I mean, it's interesting. Again, like you said, the Spurs probably have guys that, are going to go off to an expansion team and then,
Like Wesley hasn't really played that much. He's still really solid. A lot of guys.
yeah.
The one player who's for sure got to be on that Seattle roster, though, IT needs to be back in the league, man.
I would love IT back in the league. All these old guys. That'd be fun. Get Raymond Felton back in the league.
Yeah, I saw a recent video.
You saw a recent video of it, right? Oh, man. That boy.
Someone commented like, "Yo, it looks like Raymond Felton. 8 Raymond Felton."
Yeah, that's okay, but man, Raymond Felton was one of the ones, though.
He was one of
He
them
was a
ones.
solid player. And, he's enjoying that retirement life.
Yeah, man. I probably do feel like that. Yeah.
True.
Hey, remember what they used to say back in the day in history? If you had a big belly, it means that you lived a good life.
You had
You had a cat. You had it like this, bro. You
Yeah.
had it like that. So, hey, man. Life is good. Raymond Felton.
100%.
I got a question to pose to you guys.
Let's hear it.
Early MVP rankings 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
What you think it will finish? So go from your 5th, 4th.
No,
Go from
fuck
your
it. We
5th
didn't even
to your
really do
number
our
1.
award predictions, right?
We didn't do them.
Let's
so
do it.
let's do our award predictions. We might as well then.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
Where do we start?
MVP. Okay, let's go.
MVP, we're starting with MVP?
Okay, no. Let's go. Let's go 6 man. 6 man of the year.
Man of the year? Malik Monk.
Oh, that's a
Malik
good
Monk
one.
is my pick.
That's a good one.
Like another one, I'll break it up to where I think is going to happen and what I would love to happen. What I think is going to happen, I think is Malik Monk. You saw how last year he really fully embraced that role. And we've seen in the past that 6 man doesn't necessarily mean you don't close out games. Fox and Monk in that Clippers game, that was like instant offense, was like must see TV. So I think it's going to be a lot of that. What I want to see, Cam Thomas, man. Cam Thomas.
I think depending on, how it goes about in Golden State, I feel like they got a 6 man of the year brewing.
CP, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not CP, if like they
JK.
if he does end up playing starting like he did yesterday, yeah, I think Jonathan Kuminga could be in for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either him or because I think obviously once Draymond's back, CP is gonna head to that bench.
That's true.
I think they might start Draymond at 5, and they bring Kevon Looney off the bench.
Damn.
I think so. I think they would.
I think they'll start that, but I feel like they'd be more effective if they played out with Kevon on the 5.
Yeah. Considering how big the Western Conference is too in terms of roster.
Because that way you get Chris to fully mesh and be embedded within Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. And if the Warriors want to do anything, a lot of their season hinges on how those two guys go. Because last year was definitely Moses definitely I think showed the most. Jonathan Kuminga was definitely a disappointment. But through game 1, Kuminga looks good, Moody looks good. A lot of that had to do with Chris Paul being there, so I think you got to keep that a constant for sure.
Damn.
Who's your pick for six? Andrew?
I said Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, that's,
I like Gary
like that.
Trent.
That's a
Like
good
I mean,
one.
he's a starting caliber player that's playing 30 minutes off the bench probably. So I like his chances just from. He's a high volume scorer, who's still also a fairly efficient 3-point shooter. I mean, and he's a really good defender. I think in terms of just even outside of just offensive production, he's a guy who can. I mean, typically we've seen the sixth man isn't a great two-way player. But I think GTJ is probably that guy who can break that mold of being a really solid offensive player and
He
also
had all the
having.
box score watchers thinking he was an elite defender, though.
Huh?
Remember last year he was like leading the league in steals.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he's probably gonna still be there, and he's gonna lead. He's been a league leader, and he was a league leader in deflections too last year. So I think again, I think if get success always at the end of the day will put you in the conversation, and then if Gary Trent can continue that, I think he's a realistic choice for that. But I'm trying to think who else would be a really solid sixth man across the league right now. I mean, you mentioned Golden State. Malik Monk is a really good choice. But to me, it's almost obvious because Malik Monk's role was so important to them last year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think right now.
Who won it last year again? Was that quick?
Wasn't Malcolm Brogdon?
Oh, it was Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah. Emmanuel Quickly, I think, is another guy that could be in that conversation
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean he's actually in the odds rankings. He's pretty high up there.
I think he might be the favorite
Yeah, he might be the favorite. Yeah,
based on how they played today. I think he's for sure in there.
yeah. I'm trying to think about it now. I mean, is there any potential for?
Ooh, who's Montrezl Harrell was the last big man to win six man. Before that, I don't even
True.
know.
Before he got waived.
Yeah.
He's injured right now, though, right? He's a massive injury, so yeah, good names for six.
Maybe,
for six
Bobby,
man.
maybe Bobby Portis will finally win. All right, let's move on to Defensive Player of the Year. What y'all got for this? My pick, personally, oh man, I want it to be Drew. I want to see a guard win it.
I mean,
And if it's not Drew, I think Porzingis could even find his way in there, because if you're basing it off of how good that team's going to be defensively, and whether you want to give it to your perimeter stopper or your paint stopper, one of those two guys I think could definitely be in the running.
Damn, I'm trying to think right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of good defenders.
I think it would really. I find that Defensive Player of the Year is definitely one of those roles where it comes down to that team success as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter where they finish if they don't finish well. What I will say is if, their season pans out the way it started last year, I could see a player like Miles Turner, really...
I would love to
coming
see
form.
Miles Turner get into that conversation.
But
definitely.
I think that just hinges on, the health of the whole team. But that team did start off really well last year, so I think he is, the core defense in that team, and I think when they have everything together, that team is honestly up there in the West.
Yeah.
East?
Yeah,
East. Sorry. But yeah, I think that's a sleeper pick for me at least.
I got two names. I got Bam and Nick
Let's
Claxton.
talk about Bam, man. Bam
Yeah.
needs to get one.
He needs to get one. I think Bam is probably the one guy that can truly guard 1 through 5.
You think Precious?
I think Precious can. I think no. Actually, you know what? I think Precious certainly can. I mean, it just hasn't had the role to
He
do
has
it.
the ability, but Bam
He's shown
is
it pretty well.
definitely, the one guy.
Well, yeah. Bam is for sure from an all-star caliber player. Bam is the guy that can do that to some degree before all the crap happened. Ben Simmons, but I like Bam and Nick Claxton. I think again, wherever Miami finishes, if they finish in the play-in team again, don't think Bam's gonna be part of the conversation. I think that's the reason why he hasn't gotten one because the team hasn't just been consistent defensively. But Nick Claxton absolutely should have gotten freaking votes, man. He had last year and should have been in that running. He should have made he didn't make an all defense team, no. And he was
Him and McDaniels were the biggest snubs from last year.
Yeah.
Let me double check that though. But yeah, keep going.
yeah, I absolutely think Nick Claxton should be in there. Again, based on team success, whether he gets votes or not, it'll really depend. But I think I'm more so vouching for those two because I just don't think they get enough love from the league, and I just hate how again this is always a conversation with all stars and awards where these are individual awards, but it's a lot of it's based on team success, and I get the importance of impact to it, but sometimes some guys are just so good at what they do, and unfortunately they just got dealt a really tough hand. So, you know, I remember they were having a conversation about someone like DeMarcus Cousins being an all-star, and I'm like, the dude was averaging 28, 12, and 6. Like, how do you not have a guy like that be an all-star, right? So,
problem, man.
yeah.
He's like almost at the, what's the word? What's the word when like something sounds so like surreal that it's like a fantasy or like
Oh, like
mythical. He's gonna be in that kind of mythical allure of like maybe a couple steps below like T-Mac.
he spent too much time in Sacramento during their dark days.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Can you imagine how good they could have been if like you gave it if he was born a few years earlier, you get a bit of the overlap between him and Fox.
that would have been a really nice team together, especially them in the screen and roll.
Oh yeah.
Oh my lord.
But Nicholas Claxton for sure deserves his respect. Did not get all defensive team last year. I think that's gonna change.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, which award are we going to next?
Most improved. I think those are the only 4 awards, right? And then coach of the year, but I think that's
That's just up in the air always.
most improved. Can I give you mine?
Let's hear.
Tyrese Maxey.
Ooh.
I think Tyrese Maxey.
He was already like 20 a game last year though.
He's going to get the ball in his hands this year. No James Harden.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he's going to be the number 2 option on this team. I mean, if he does
What do
have...
you think he could get up to?
I think he's a 24 guy, 24 for 25 guy.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think he's a 7 assist guy. I think he's a 4 rebound guy. I think
He
he's a 2
definitely
steals
fits
guy.
the mold of an MIP too.
Yeah.
Because like I was looking earlier, I think some of the odds having like guys that shouldn't even be in that conversation, like Cade.
Yeah.
There's guys where like, respectfully, Jaw kind of fucked it up to where now we're just anybody that goes from averaging like 10 to 19 to 20 a game, you win
Yeah.
MIP. You know, I think Laurie definitely was a guy that kind of saved it, but you know, we got to do better at making sure that the MIP is reserved for the guys who were like not trash by any sense, but like we're a little bit, you know, they're a role player. Now they project to like a solid starter or even like a fringe all-star. You know, you got your CJ McCollums and your Laurie Markkins of the world. Tyrese
Yeah.
definitely fits that mold.
Pascal Siakams of the world.
Yeah.
Tyrese, yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's real improvement because they spent a number of years just kind of being fringe rotation starter players with solid production to being.
Tyrese was what, 28th pick? Like late.
Yeah, he was
in that
late.
draft.
But again, with Tyrese, he's going to be in the MIP. He's probably in the same thing as same conversation as guys like. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, you said Cade. I was going to mention Josh Giddey, but again, he's probably in that same
I
mold
feel
where
like
it's
his usage might go down a little bit to where like his numbers would stay the same.
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's interesting. I want to know, like, Tyrese Maxey, for me, it's just a clear-cut winner because now he has Nick Nurse, and he's clearly invested in building that role for him to be the main guy with the ball in his hands. So I think this year he's just going to explode.
Yeah, Reese is one of the ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even think of anyone better than that or anyone like on that level, to be honest. I think it's just too early in the season. Like that role for me, like you're gonna see someone carve out into that role. I mean, I know he's had good enough seasons that he can't necessarily win this award, but I think John Collins is going to have a resurgence.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But I don't think he can win the award because he has averaged 20 before, or close to 20 if I'm not mistaken. So he'd have.
I don't know if they go. Sorry to cut you off. I don't know if they go into like your whole body of work. Maybe just
Yeah.
the past couple of years. So.
But usually that like affects the mold because Tyrese Maxey's only been getting better, and I can imagine him taking that next step. John Collins has at his peak looked like he could have turned into that player,
Yeah.
and to revert and come back, it's kind of a different story than
That's a point.
Yeah.
But honestly though, I would even reward that even more to a guy like
Yeah,
John Collins, because it's like, damn, if he went down in the dumps, had one of his worst seasons in efficiency last year, and he comes back, becomes a 20-8 guy. He's got great stats, and then if you look beyond the counting stuff, you go into the analytics and you look at his impact on the floor, his win shares, whatever, all that kind of stuff. It's like, damn, like, I think the guy is actually a really solid player. He's just dealt a bad hand in a bad situation. John Collins is a good name. That's a good name. I like John Collins for MIP.
My pick. Oh man, it might be like the equivalent. I like how Embiid got like the sympathy MVP. I think Desmond Bain needs to be in that conversation, and I think given how he's definitely gonna be thrusted into that number one role, I wonder what did he have to. But anyways, when you look at like the construction of that team, and we all talk about how they need another guy. Desmond Bain is unequivocally that guy. So I think he's the guy that's for sure gonna thrust his name into that conversation. Needs to be in that conversation, and yeah,
That's a good one.
I think that's a good one because he probably averaged what, like, just
he had
fringe 20 last year.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
Definitely a little tough because he's definitely gonna have to get up to that like 25-ish, 26-ish like level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But started off right this today at 31.
Yeah.
Last but not least, what y'all got for MVP?
I'm not gonna lie.
You want your boy to win it?
As much as I want my boy to win it, I could really see Jokic winning it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on yesterday. Oh my god.
He is like consensus best player in the NBA right now. And I think
Yeah. He's the face of the league right
he's
now.
got everything to lose right now. Basically, I don't think there's a player better than him, distinctively right now. You know, like he's got it all.
Yeah, I think my only counter to Jokic is the fact that I just don't think he gives a crap enough about the MVP anymore. I just don't think he gives
definitely
a
would have
damn.
been going for his fourth if he was like, I'm the best player in this fucking game.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't think he gives a damn, but I think he could definitely win it by not even trying this regular season. Because without even trying, the dude is dropping 25 and 15 and 9 and 12 or some insane stuff, right? Like, he is like beyond like words, Jokic, and the things that he does on the basketball court, his skill level, like his understanding of the IQ of the game. Like when I watch him sometimes, I'm like so jealous, man. I'm like, dude, who cares about your body, bro? Like,
Yeah.
like, and here you are, the best basketball player in the world.
He just made it look so easy yesterday to step through Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
He would,
Oh my
he
god.
made-
he would literally pop it up.
He
and
literally little boyed Anthony Davis for that entire game.
He's such an unorthodox player too, right? Like
Yeah.
his one-legged threes, the way he gets to the rim and uses his body, like his change of pace for his size is really good.
He's like the best situational basketball player I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, you can plug him in anywhere and he'll be successful. Like, oh man, I don't know. Jokic is incredible, man.
I do want Jason Tatum to win.
I think he's got a good chance though, because I think
Yeah.
Boston's going to finish with 60+ wins this year.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, just that alone, and Tatum probably being a 27, and counting stats, the wins, that's all going to be there.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be one of those MVPs that doesn't have the best stat line, but it's on the best team. Like I could see it being like a 28-7-7 year, and be like, they're first in the league, 60 wins. We're gonna give the MVP to
Yeah,
him.
like a Giannis.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I think that year there's a very good case that James Harden should have won.
Yeah.
I think it might have been his first MVP. That was the year Harden averaged like 35.
Yeah. And Harden, it was like 35, like
It was like a
8 and 9
35-point
or
double-double.
Yeah, because he had double. He was leading the league in assists. No,
I think so.
he had like 12. I think he had 11 or 12. He was insane, dude. James at his peak was insane. James at his peak.
Man, if he doesn't get a ring, I think he's gonna be someone that's like
Oh, he's gonna be on that level.
very heavily disrespected.
For sure.
Yeah, him and I mean, you see how it is already with Russ being, the MVP player that he is.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I mean, I have Jokic as my number one, but I'll give you guys a dark horse, like a guy that I really think could absolutely win it this year is Donovan Mitchell.
because I think
Okay.
Cleveland is a 55+ win team this year.
Damn.
I think they overstep. I think, and I was thinking about this since our last conversation. I think Boston finishes first. I would be shocked if they don't. And I would almost slot Cleveland in at number 2. Because I don't think Milwaukee cares enough about
The regular season.
I think,
regular
yeah,
season.
They're going to care more about getting into April and May.
and making sure that they're healthy, considering that they are on the lower side in terms of their depth this year. And with Dame has typically been a guy who has injury troubles and misses time. And I think they'll do the same with Giannis and resting him in some games, even though he's a guy that does play 65 plus almost every season. I do think 76ers taking an obvious step back. Who were the 5th and 6th teams last year? New York and Brooklyn.
Yes, Brooklyn's like a little like fake one though, because they were like 11 and 15 post trade deadline.
Yeah. Cleveland being number 2 in the East, I think they're a 55+ win
like
team. I mean, they added Georges Niang, they added
Oh, did you see how
Max
much Max
Strus.
Strus had today?
What do you have?
27 and 12.
Oh my God. He's an
Max
answer.
Strus is gonna be MVP, huh?
He addressed a lot of their needs, but I think again Donovan is
It's a good
obviously
pick, honestly.
he's a 6'3" guard. He's a
I really
scoring
like that
first
pick,
guy,
honestly,
but
yeah.
think about it. I think Cleveland has been a team slept on a little bit this offseason just with all the other moves. And you're going to get growth from Evan Mobley. Donovan Mitchell's clearly still the best player on that team. I could see him being the scoring champion this year, too.
Ooh.
He had 27 today. It's not a bad start.
Yeah, it's not a bad start. I think he could average 30 this year.
Fuck. Sorry, Luka just totally tossed.
Like a Hoji?
Dude,
It's a turnover
Yeah,
for him.
me, fuck yeah. You know who I want to win MVP?
Giannis.
The Kobe disciple.
D-Book, that's a good one, too, though.
Devin Booker. I am fully convinced that Devin Booker has the reins on this offense. Not only just like has them, but he's controlling that motherfucker. Because I mean, again, yesterday he was still able to get to his spots. He was able to get everyone involved. I mean, it's like we're seeing like the birth child of what would have happened if Kobe and Chris Paul teamed up. You know, maybe definitely not to like the same lethality that those two in their prime would have been, but you know, you have Devin Booker who has like a very, very good cerebral, very good all around. He has no holes offensively, and now that you're adding the playmaking to it, I think it even increases the fact that he has no like flaws at all offensively. I think the big thing like that would challenge it though is definitely the defense, because you know I think they project to be solid. You know, they got Frank Vogel, they got, you know, Josh Okogie,
Yeah.
but I think that's probably the one thing that could, like, maybe throw a wrench in it, because they, at their peak, I would say they're maybe like a top 9, top 8 defense, but I think what they'll project to be is more of like, you know, a mid offense, or mid defense.
That defense, yeah.
Like they're going to be the team that's like, the way we play defense is by scoring more than you.
Yeah. And they don't have a lot of... I mean, the starting lineup, the only great defensive personnel there is Josh Okogie. And Katie's actually a really good help defender.
Katie
but
had his best defensive year like in a while last year.
yeah, so and he's, again, a really good help defender, good situational, systematic defender. I would say Devin Booker is actually really solid on ball as well when he gets deep.
he's not a cone. I think what their team is they have.
He's not a
like,
cone. he's not a cone.
Granted,
Damn.
the barometer for a superstar guard.
Is he can't be a
That's kind of
cone.
what you want.
Yeah.
Steph used to be like, Steph was a cone. before.
Oh, hey, last year he had one of his best defensive seasons too.
Steph might be a stopper at this.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Jason Tatum, he's like a plus defender.
Yeah, he's a plus defender.
And then he's kind of putting up those similar stats to Devin Booker. So it's
I
almost
think it might also be like he's a plus defender on paper, but not like with the eye test, if you know what I mean. Because
Yeah.
he's not going to be guarding the Julius Randles. He's not going to be guarding the top player on each team.
I don't even think he's the best defender out of him and out of the Jays.
You don't think so?
I think Jaylen Brown is a better defender.
Jaylen Brown kind of taking a step back defensively.
I think
I think he like on one-on-one. I think if you were to put,
maybe as a
think
one-on-one
he is better.
defender.
Yeah.
I think the thing is Jason Tatum has the larger frame.
I think that's
So,
what makes it.
He's the better help defender for sure. But the thing is, like, the position he plays kind of demands to be a help defender. He's not necessarily like the players that he goes up against and the players that he's typically guarding aren't like shifty perimeter players. You know,
Yeah.
he's playing like if he is guarding someone, for example, if they're playing the Lakers, he's guarding LeBron.
Well, I think that's you just saying that though. It's part of the problem of why Defensive Player of the Year is always such a
Yeah, that's a weird award.
it's a screwy award because of the fact that one year we can go from giving it to a big because he blocked all these many shots and he was the opposing field goal percentage against him is, but then if you were to use those same stats with a guard, you obviously can't do that, right? And you look at a guy like Marcus Smart, where you look at his ability, like his deflections, like against perimeter players, like the stats and what we use to compare things to one another, there's such a massive gap because they play different positions, which is why it's so crazy that Bam Adebayo hasn't won one yet, even though the success, because the dude can guard through on the 5, he can play a help defender, and or he can be your primary lead defender. He can be your point of attack defender. So it's like insane, right? And that's why we're also thinking about Ben Simmons being a Defensive Player of the Year candidate all the time because he's this exact same.
5'2".
Exactly. So
He looked alright in his return.
yeah, in his return, I think I'm speaking more from his body of work, like in Philly before making the move. Like the dude was a perennial defensive player, generational even in some ways because he could guard
He was
1 through
locked in
5.
for one in the future at one point. You know.
Yeah. So, again, the what we use to evaluate the Defensive Player of the Year, I think that's got to change too. I almost think you got to give 2 different awards.
Honestly, you're not even
Defensive guard of the year. Defensive.
Yeah, something like that.
Perimeter paint defender of the year
Yeah.
kind of thing, for sure. I think with Jason Tatum, his how do I word this? His defense is like when you look at the potential MVPs, particularly when we're talking about like him versus Devin Booker, he doesn't. Out of like a majority of these MVP candidates, he has the least on his plate to prove to the media defensively.
It's true.
And that's because you got Drew Holiday, Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown. You have all these guys that, not to say that they can hide it, but you have those guys to take the bigger matchups.
Yeah.
That you can take. Let's say you go from taking you're taking a Jalen Brunson or a Julius Randle to you take the Quentin Grimes of the world. Still a job to do, but like infinitesimally easier than if you had to guard those type of guys.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, yeah, because of the fact that I think you were trying to say it in the way that not necessarily hiding, but you have other better defensive players that you can put on the other best perimeter offensive players. So it's going to look like, and I think this might even be a strategy that they employ because you want Jason Tatum to be a guy who can take a break on the defensive end then, so that he can completely exert all of his energy on the offensive end. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we've seen that all throughout the history of the league where sometimes the best offensive player does not guard the best defensive player because unless, the one guy who has done it the best, I think, historically is probably Kawhi Leonard. Like being able to guard the opposing team's best player and also being your team's top guy.
Yeah, I think.
Right? I mean, he did it for...
That's a full-on conversation.
Yeah, so... I mean, again, what I'm saying about that is, like, Tatum is a guy who is a plus defender, absolutely, but he won't have to be for Boston.
Yeah.
He won't have to be because everybody else is a plus defender on that team.
Dope. We got through all the awards, right?
Yeah. Coach of the Year. I'm sorry, this sounds so bad, but what's the name of the dude in Oklahoma City?
Oh, Mark Dagnall,
Yeah, Mark Daignault, or I would say maybe him or
Roscoe, or oh no, that's
Roscoe Chicken and Waffles, JB Bickerstaff.
what's the Raptors coach's name?
Oh, Darko Rajakovic.
Yeah,
I mean, he could win it. I mean, it depends where they go, but if Cleveland finishes second, I'd give it to JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah.
JB was already, I think. Was he a finalist last year? Either way,
I
yeah,
think so.
He's someone who could be in that mix. All right, to end off the show, I'm going to call this section, Whose Name Is It Anyways? We got NBA nicknames. I'm going to throw it out, and you just got to say who it is. To kind of have like a Jeopardy style buzzer or whatever. Let's just use the first letter in each other's name. So, Christian, you say C, or Ruben, you say R, or J, which if you want to go by JR. Anyways, we'll start it nice and easy. The Paw.
The Paw.
Yo, I'm gonna be bad.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be bad at this. It's the Paw.
The Paw. Whose nickname is the Paw?
Man, I'm just thinking of like things I can piece together, and I don't think this is right. Because I'm sure. Oh no,
You
no.
gotta guess. Throw it
No,
out.
this is not even his nickname. Unless it's like a secondary nickname, which I don't think it is. But I'm just putting 2 and 2 together right now.
Throw it out.
It's either. It's not Zach Randolph.
No. So no, it's not Zach Randolph. Ruben, you gotta guess?
Grant Hill.
Nah.
Is it
Okay,
Marc Gasol?
I'll give you all a hint.
Is it okay? Is it a current player or is
Yeah,
it?
actually, I'll start with that. Current player.
Current
Oh,
player?
wow.
Fuck.
Damn.
I don't even know any
tough.
like current players' nicknames.
Name the Paw.
Can you give us a conference?
East.
East.
Who the hell's name is a Paw?
Is he a big?
No, he's more of a wing, I'd say.
Is a wing? Damn.
Is it someone we know well? You think?
Yeah, his name's been around.
God damn.
Okay, I'll give you the player that they're basing this off of / who his comp was. Kawhi.
Oh, Pat Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Paw.
That one was not easy. Fuck.
I think we were thinking way too
We're
outside
gonna,
the
we're gonna
box.
keep needing hints.
Yeah.
This is how it's gonna go.
That's okay. Okay, let's go easy here. Slow mo.
Oh, that's Kyle Anderson.
Alright, Christian on the board. Alright, next up. The Bosnian Bear.
Yusuf Nurkic.
Ooh.
I knew it was.
Right down the pipe for Ruben. Alrighty. Outback Jesus.
Josh Giddey.
No.
Wait, is it? No. What? Man, the thing is, like, I just picture these. It's not Steven Adams.
No.
Oh,
That's a
That's what I was thinking. Is it? Oh my God! Is it the homie on Phoenix?
Is it Patty Mills?
No.
Homie on Phoenix that just signed with them from Houston? Oh, the Australian dude.
Houston.
I forgot his name. Oh my God.
Shock.
Oh, Jock? No.
Not Jock Landale? Damn. Not a bad guess.
Wait, what was the nickname again?
Outback Jesus.
Outback Jesus.
Steven Adams honestly felt like a really
Yeah,
good
Steve
guy.
Adams makes sense for this.
Oh my
name.
God. Okay, what's the hint?
Well, he's
hint?
Australian, right?
He's Australian. Last team he played
Oh,
for.
Joe Ingles.
No. Last team he played for was the Kings.
The Kings. But he still does, he doesn't play for the Kings anymore. Is he retired?
Let me fact check that.
Is he current or retired?
I don't think he signed.
Who the frick?
No, he is currently not in the NBA.
Oh,
Who the- is
but
that
he
guy?
was signed recently.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Outback Jesus. This is a pretty hard nickname when you think about it.
It is a hard nickname. I just gotta think of who it could be. Not in the NBA.
Okay, here's a hint. He's like a cult hero.
Cult hero.
Oh my God.
Like you only like, oh my gosh, that's my guy. If like this was your team.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's in my head. Oh my
I think you got
gosh.
it, but like,
Bro, oh my god, the name. Frick me, bro.
Outback
What the
Jesus.
frick?
I don't even know if he's Australian. It's not Mike James, is it? No.
no,
Aaron Baines?
no,
Aaron-
you're that's warm though. That's warm.
Aaron Baines is warm. Oh,
Who's their other big? What the frick?
Oh yeah, no, here's the last thing. It's a guard.
it's a guard.
Not Patty Mills. Oh my god. What the frick?
Yeah, I can't.
I don't know the Australian team's name. We can't use our phones. I'm not gonna bring it up. That's unfair.
All right. I think you gotta give it to us. I don't think I got it. You got it?
Who you think?
Once you say the name,
I'll give you the first letter of their last name.
okay.
This is gonna give it away. D.
D.
Dellavedova! Oh, fuck, man! Oh my god, that's why I was like, I knew it. I was thinking about short white guy. I think a small white boy, bro. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Flew over my head.
No.
Two more. We got two more.
All right.
The king in the fourth.
LeBron James. No, that's not him. He was never
King of the fourth.
King of the Fourth.
King in the fourth.
King of the fourth.
King in the Fourth? He's the King in the Fourth. Is it Jimmy Butler?
Good guess, but no.
King in the fourth.
Okay, East, West.
Currently not employed.
Oh, King of the Fourth, is it Kobe?
No.
Is it Kemba Walker?
No. Good guess.
Is it IT?
Yeah.
Oh! Nice
Alright.
guess.
I had a feeling it was one of those.
Damn.
things for some
Yeah,
reason.
no, I got you, bro. Oh, man.
Alright. Here we go. Next one. Young Bull.
Oh fuck! I know this one.
Derrick Rose.
Young.
What?
Is it Kobe White? No.
No.
Young Bull. Fuck! I know this one.
The Young Bull.
Oh.
Who is this? East or West?
West.
John Morant?
No.
Playoff team from last year?
He's a guard too, isn't he?
No.
He's not a guard.
He's a guard.
He is a guard.
No, they were not in playoffs last year.
Is he current?
Yeah, he's current. Yeah. Damn.
I think I know this one. I've heard his name before.
He's a guard.
Here's a really good hint. He's one of the people that beat KD, James, and Kyrie.
Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're yeah. Young Bull.
Yeah, yeah.
Utah Jazz.
Ooh, I think it's
few more. We got time for one or two.
Yeah, yeah.
who was tied. Okay. Next one, y'all ready? Curtis Jackson Jr.
I ain't gonna get this. I don't even know who the fuck.
Oh, that's 50 Cent.
Oh fuck. Oh. Looks like 50 Cent in the league.
I'll give you a hint off.
Say
the rip.
Shake Milton?
No, not in the league anymore.
No.
Oh.
Oh, Rodney Stuckey? Is that it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Rodney Hood.
What's his actual name? Rodney Stuckey? Is that
Ronnie
right?
Stuckey.
Yeah, Rodney
He
Stuckey.
He does look like.
Rodney
I
Stuckey.
ain't never gonna get that one.
All right.
What a name. Rodney
For
Stuckey.
real, yo. Okay, let me double check this one. I got one more for y'all.
Damn. It's like, oh, it's who's this?
Bean.
No, Kobe.
Actually, we do have something along those lines. Bean Burrito.
That's gonna be racist as hell.
No. Wait, I won't say.
I was thinking, who's Kobe but Mexican?
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Juan Toscano Anderson.
No.
Bean burrito.
Bean Burrito.
We need some hints for this one, I think.
Current player?
No.
Okay, we're gonna go back. Bean Burrito.
He
Shaquille
has,
O'Neal.
He has another nickname that's like way more like if you heard that like, oh yeah, that's that guy. So Bean Burrito is more of an obscure one.
What team was he known for?
That's tough. He played a couple roles.
So he was a trash bag.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. Bean Burrito, what the hell? You got some
I got
nasty
nothing.
farts or something, yo?
I would say Washington would be like the
Oh my god, is it Caron Butler?
no,
Antoine Jameson?
no,
Gilbert
Bradley
Arenas?
Beal.
Javaris Crittenton?
no.
John Wall.
Javaris Crittenton's a crazy. player.
Drew Gooden?
Oh, no.
Martin
No.
Gortat.
No.
What was Andre Blatch?
No.
Oh, what?
Wizards players. Fuck, Kyle Kuzma. Oh wait, he's not in the
You
league
gotta
anymore.
think more so the blue jersey era.
Blue jersey era.
Oh my God, the Blue Jays
Yes,
era is
You
like
said
top
Anton
tier
Jameson.
Larry
already?
Hughes.
No.
No, Larry Hughes didn't play for Washington.
Blue jersey era.
Tyronn Lue.
Oh
Who
man.
played in the Blue era?
Michael Jordan.
No.
Oh my
Did he
God.
play with Michael Jordan?
Gilbert, yes. Caron Butler, Antoine Jameson. Who was their center that year?
Fuck, I
Okay,
don't know.
here's the next thing.
Deshaun Stevenson.
He has a ring.
He has a ring, a singular ring.
Let me double
Oh my
check.
God, this is tough.
Do you
Jav-
He has a ring.
JaVale McGee.
No. That's warm though.
JaVale McGee is warm.
Oh, but he's in the league though.
No, he's not in the
He's
league
not
anymore.
in the league anymore.
So maybe he played with JaVale McGee. That's like 2000, early 2000s.
Late
Ja-
2000s,
late
early
2000s.
2010s.
Did Marcus Camby play for that team?
No, I don't think. I don't think. he did
Not that
no,
it matters.
it's
Gil.
not
Who
Canby.
played for that? So I said Gil. I said Caron. I said Antoine. I said Blatch.
I feel like you guys said every name except this guy.
Fuck.
When you hear it, you're like, oh shit! Of course it's him.
Who was even prolific on the Wizards in this era? This is like the one team, or one
It's
of.
got to be a
the-
big though, right? It's a big.
Nah, he's more of like a guard wing.
Oh,
You said Caron Butler.
Yeah.
yeah. I said all.
I
the
feel like
names.
that's maybe the right era.
I think maybe a tad
after?
after.
Tad
Yeah,
after.
'cause you
Or
said
right in
JaVale.
that, right in the ballpark.
Man, who was on
John
that team?
Wall would have maybe been in that era.
I think he definitely played.
He definitely played for 1 or 2 years in that era. The blue jerseys.
Oh, dude, I don't even know.
Yeah, I think I give up.
Okay, here. I feel like this will help jog your memory. So this is the teams he played for in chronological order: the Wizards, the Clippers, the Sixers, the Lakers, Golden State, and then he ended his career. He only played
Sean
4 games
Livingston?
with Denver.
No, sorry. Say that again. His chronological order: Wizards, Clippers.
So, Wizards, Clippers, Philly, Lakers, Golden State, and he only played 4 games, but he technically ended with the Nuggets.
Did you say you played with Cleveland?
No.
Golden
Lakers.
State. Who went to Golden State from Washington?
Lakers to Denver. Damn, JaVale McGee. No, JaVale McGee didn't.
Maybe there's a
Oh,
2K legend.
2K legend.
That made it harder now.
Danny
Yeah.
Manning.
No, not like he had a low overall, but he was like a god. But this guy was like, he was nice in 2K.
Fuck, dude. I don't know what.
I don't know either. Elton Brand? No, Elton Brand was old.
You said Wizards, Clippers,
Philly,
Philly.
LA, the Lakers, Golden State, and then ended in Denver.
Base guard.
Chris Kaman? No,
He's a guard. He's a guard.
he's a guard. He's a
I
guard.
think I just won't figure it out now.
You guys got this.
Man, I'm casual. In other notes, Wemby's only got 6 points right now. He
Yes?
got 5 fouls.
Oh my goodness.
He's not him.
Shit got real.
Scoot is gonna win Rookie of the Year. Oh, that's one award we forgot.
Oh.
Wow, we're an idiots.
Wemby.
I think we got Wemby, right?
I
We
got
Wemby.
Scoot.
I think
Do
Scoot.
you actually?
I think Scoot's having a lackluster debut too.
I heard
Anyways,
that too.
oh man, how do I word this? I have one more hint that'll like
Okay.
definitely
Just
break
drop
open, but, like, okay. This is a kind of a niche thing. I'm only gonna say another name, but it's not the guy. Gilbert Arenas.
Javaris Crittenton.
Nah.
Oh my God, who is his running mate? Oh my God, it's his running mate, isn't it?
I don't know if they like. I don't remember if they like ran together.
Rasul Butler?
No.
Oh, was it Rashad McCants?
No, you gotta think newer than that.
I know, he's fit. So when did he retire?
He retired 2019.
2019. So I was watching
Like,
basketball.
he stopped playing in the NBA in 2019.
Fuck, I don't know. He must have been a role player in his last few years.
Yeah. He was on. Here, I'll give you all the year he won his ring. 2018 Warriors.
The 2018 Warriors. Oh fuck! I gotta get this now.
That makes it even harder, bro.
2018 Warriors. All right, let's just run the whole
Okay,
roster.
Steph,
Steph
Clay,
Curry, Klay Thompson,
KD,
KD, Draymond
Dre,
Green,
Andrew Bogut.
Andrew Bogut.
David Lee, no.
David Lee wasn't on that.
Who was your
roster.
point guard? Sean Livingston.
Sean Livingston. Was David West still on the team? No.
No, he was retired by then.
Oh man, who the fuck was on the team?
Who were their backups, man?
It had to be a backup.
Bro, who are their backups now?
Who was even the backup center?
I'll
JaVale
tell you
McGee was the backup
It's a
center.
guard. It's a guard.
Okay, so it's not Sean Livingston, so it's got to be whoever the shooting guard is, or like the third
I want
string
y'all to
guard.
get this so badly.
The shooting guard.
Who's their shooting guard?
Is it Barbosa? No, Barbosa doesn't even make sense.
I forgot about Barbosa. My God. Who the frick
Dude,
was on that team?
I watched that finals.
He didn't play like that many minutes.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, I give up.
So wait,
I
he
completely
played.
give up,
Where
man.
did he play? Warriors, and then he went to Denver right after.
Yeah, but on Denver, he only played like 4 games.
This sucks.
I give up, man. I give up.
Dang. When y'all hear y'all, are gonna be so choked.
I'm gonna be choked as fuck.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Nick Young.
No fucking way, man.
Pete Burrito.
I'm going off of basketball reference.
That's why when he said you have another nickname you'll know by Swaggy Pete.
Oh, man.
Man, screw the show, yo.
Fuck,
It's
Nick
helpful. You
Young.
gotta tell us.
Anyways, that has been another episode of the Black Talk Podcast. Hope y'all enjoy the NBA season. We're ready. We're ready to talk about it, man. Weekly. It's gonna be a good time. Any last thing to say, boys?
Enjoy the NBA season, and the Raptors are gonna win the NBA championship.
Fuck Nick Young.
Stay safe. Stay blessed. We'll see y'all soon.
Back shots.
Back shots.